long time no see. I said I was gonna film my Q&A video back in January, but obviously I didn't because it's April now. But I have all of my questions on my handy dandy MacBook because I film all my videos on my phone. So I'm gonna answer them all today. I've had a lot happen in the past couple of months, so I just honestly have not had time to film this video, but finally filming it. So let's answer all of the questions that I asked you guys to ask me. First question is, what is your sewing machine? This is my baby. It is a Brother CE 1150. Yes, Brother CE 1150. I got it and it has hella stickers on it, a lot from some of my friends. I bought it from Walmart 4 years ago. I think it's a great affordable option. If I were to upgrade at all, it would only be for an industrial sewing machine. So I think that says a lot about how much I enjoyed this sewing machine. My next question is, where are you based out of? I'm based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Most people probably can't tell me where that is on a map, but it's in the Midwest. Yeah, growing up in the Midwest has had a lot of influence on my brand. Obviously with all the camo, it's probably obvious that I am from the Midwest. I'm not originally from the city, but I'm here forever. So Trash Girl is based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. What is your favorite part about having a small brand? I definitely say probably like just all of the people who follow me and like shop with me and just engage with me. I think everyone's really cool. And I also really just like being able to try shit out. I like being able to just do things creatively and put them online or just post about them and see what other people think. The next question is, what happened to my one-of-one drops? I have not done a one-of-one drop since 2023. It's 2025 now. I've not done a one-of-one drop in ages, and I would love to do it again. Most of Trash Girl up until last year, 2024, like it was mostly like upcycle drops and rework drops, but what ended up happening is I got too many made to order orders. I didn't have time to just mess around and make upcycled mini skirts. I just didn't have time for it. This year I'm really hoping that I can at least do one-of-one drop. I really enjoy doing the bondage skirts. I just haven't had time for it this past year, but I'm hoping this year I will at least do one or two. I have a bunch of leftover Fawn skirt fabric scraps that are just like, they're like this long, like I can't do much with them. So I really want to do like a Fawn skirt one-of-one drop that's just a bunch of scraps. Because each drop is a slightly different type of camo because I get all of my camo fabric locally. So each time they're slightly different. They're always Realtree branded, and they're always either like, they're usually like the APG camo, but they're usually slightly different. Like one's slightly more warm or slightly cooler, or like it's a different type of like oak tree leaf. So I think it's going to be really cool when I do end up doing that drop, because it's going to be kind of like a mix of Realtree camo, and I think I really want to do that, and I'm hoping to do that this summer. So hold me accountable. That is my plan. My next question is, do you have another job other than your Do you have another job other than your gorge art? I do. I actually work, I actually have a full-time job on top of this. This is not my job by any means. I'm very lucky to be working in the apparel decorating industry, which is just like screen printing and embroidery. I've learned a lot just in general about like clothing making and screen printing in general working there. When I come home and I do this, I wake up in the morning, I go see t-shirts getting printed, and then I come home and I print t-shirts. My life is literally just making clothes. A lot of people think that's crazy when I tell them that like that is my job and that is what I do at home. But I like am not normal about any of this. My next question is fawn skirt pattern. I will be gatekeeping my fawn skirt pattern. I know that is my second most asked question, other than what my sewing machine is. I will never be sharing my fawn skirt pattern. I worked on it for almost 2 years. I spent so much fucking time making that pattern, and I severely undercharged the cost of getting a fawn skirt. I just want it to be affordable and attainable for people. So because of all the time I spent making it and perfecting it and getting it ripped off by multiple brands, one of them being Dolls Kill, the fawn skirt is my baby. I don't think I'll ever drop it. Even with offers of money, I'm not interested in sharing the pattern. I'm sorry if you think I'm mean, but I spent so long making that pattern, and I don't want to be ripped off to the fullest extent. The fawn skirt pattern will never be dropping. Yeah, that's the only time I'm gonna be mean in this video. My next question is, when did I start Trash Girl? I started Trash Girl when I was 16 years old. I am 21 now. I started Trash Girl sometime in 2020. I actually have no idea when I actually started and like hard launched Trash Girl. I was a junior in high school, and it just went from there. I started selling clothes on Depop and eventually made a website, did pop-ups and stuff. Before I actually started, oh God, this is actually a really complicated question. I didn't even realize I was saying all that and totally forgot this. Trash Girl has existed for many years. I started a clothing brand when I was 14 under a different name that I will not be sharing because it's cringe. And that's slowly evolved. It was just me like painting and upcycling vintage clothing. So I've been making clothes for a very, very long time, under a brand or as an artist. But I really went all in 2020 when I was 16. And now it's almost 5 years and we've come so far. I feel like I've grown up with Trash Girl. It's literally just like a huge part of my life that I could not imagine not having it. I have big plans, so hopefully things keep going well. Yeah, I grew up with Trash Girl, and I made clothes since I was very, very young. I was always very interested in making clothes. I wasn't allowed to buy band t-shirts, so I would like draw my own with Sharpie. I'll put a picture here. I recently acquired one. So I've been making clothes for a very, very long time, but I went all in 2020 when I was 16. The next question is, how hard was it to start a clothing brand? Like actually starting a clothing brand, like actually making clothes and figuring out what designs I wanted to do came very easily to me. I had ideas all of the time and was just always making clothes. When I was 16, I worked at a thrift store, so I was able to use my employee discount. I would use my, I don't know, like $200 paychecks that I get from working after school and take my 50% off discount and just buy up a bunch of blank t-shirts and jeans and make stuff with them. The actual like clothes making part wasn't the hard part. The hard part is figuring out all the legal stuff. I had no idea how to do that. And all like the old white men who have businesses don't want to talk about it or share anything at all. So getting like legally registered and figuring out taxes and I don't know, like copyright and trademarks and everything. That was the hardest part. And if you have any questions about it, I will not gatekeep that. I'm happy to answer any questions or share anything about it. I would love to see more people making art in the world. So that was the hardest part. And also, I'd say the next hardest part was figuring out like pricing and wholesale. I still don't even fully understand wholesale. We're getting there though. And getting like licenses and everything, that's very hard and complicated and expensive. But figuring out like pricing also was very, very hard. A lot of the clothes I make are labor intensive, and my big thing is like I want to keep it affordable. But it's hard to keep things affordable, but also pay yourself fairly. I decided I'd rather keep things affordable and accessible. Legal stuff, business licenses and everything, wholesale, and figuring out how to price items and pay myself fairly were the hardest parts about starting. And it's still hard to this day. All of those things you need maintenance on and you need to keep up on. My next question is, where do you see Trash Girl in 5 years? It's a really good question. I have a lot of high hopes and high expectations. I want to switch from made to order to ready to ship, which is like a big step and it's really expensive. I already got ripped off once when I attempted that, so now it just feels so much more unattainable. I really want to switch to ready to ship, just so it's easier for me to like maintain it, because being made to order right now, it makes it harder to do new things and kind of expand, because I'm stuck behind like, oh, like I can't do anything new until I get these orders out. So hopefully in the next years, it's like fully like pre-ordered to ready to ship. I have a lot of things planned that I don't know if I want to say on the internet yet, but you'll know when it's time. You will. I also really want to do more collaborations. It'd be really cool to work with some bigger brands. I really want to work with some music artists. I want to get more into jewelry. I want to do some more custom jewelry. And I also want to dip my toes into cut and sew more, and we'll see where that goes. Yeah, I really want to do some more cut and sew stuff, and maybe I'll dip my toes in some pre-order manufacturing, but that is a huge and expensive step. And that would mostly be for things like jewelry and accessories. It'd be really cool to do bags. That is something I would have to get manufactured. The next question is, are you ever needing models for Trash Girl apparel? If you're interested in modeling, I have a model form. If you DM me on Instagram or if you email me, I can send you a direct link to the form. I get a lot of form inquiries, so I don't always respond to all of them, but I keep them. And then when I have a photo shoot I want to do, I just pull from there, and that's when I reach out to models. Yeah, if you're local to Minneapolis and I have a shoot that I'm doing, I'll reach out to you. My next question is, where do you find inspiration? I find inspiration in a lot of things. Usually it's just what I'm interested at that current time. But most of my designs are like very tattoo reminiscent. A lot of my designs resemble like tattoo styles. When I was a kid, I really wanted to be a tattoo artist, so I think that reflects a lot in the designs I put out there, especially my screen prints. A lot of tattoos. I find a lot of inspiration in music too. I mean, the obvious examples are the Revenge Tights, which are lyrics from I Never Told You What I Do for a Living by My Chemical Romance, and the Montrose set, obviously a Man Overboard reference from the Defend Trash Girl, which is like a straight rip from the Defend Pop Punk Man Overboard posters, and I named them the Montrose set. A lot of body modification inspiration. heavy black work, music, and I'm just things I'm into in general. Like I'll see like something and be like, oh, that would be a cool t-shirt design or whatever. And a lot of my designs are also inspired by like late 90s, early 2000s, like vintage clothing items. Who's your dream influencer slash celeb to wear trash girl? My number one would definitely be Tupor. So Layla, if you're seeing this, reply to my DM or just DM me. I recently became mutuals with her on TikTok and I freaked the fuck out. I freaked out so hard. It is unbelievable. I've been a huge fan of her since like the 2017, 2018 era. And speaking of that little clothing brand I had prior to Trash Girl, a lot of my stuff was inspired by her and her painting on her Louis Vuitton bags. I took a lot of inspiration from her and I learned a lot about just like the clothes making process through being obsessed with her. What's your favorite design? My all-time favorite design is my Minerva design and my Matilda design. Those two are my favorites. My Minerva design is my logo, and the Matilda design, I love it. I think it is the cutest like little flail design and I would love to get it tattooed at some point. Those two are my favorites. I have some really cool designs that I'm dropping hopefully soon that are also definitely my new favorites, some of my best work so far. My next one is, if you had no monetary or skill restrictions, what's your dream piece to make? I would love to do denim. My absolute dream would be to do jeans. I would love to do like really intricate bondage jeans, but number one, jeans are so complicated and I'm not good at math and they're so time consuming. I can't even imagine how expensive selling jeans would be or making jeans would be. Jeans for sure. They are really technical and they're really expensive to produce. So jeans would be my project. Do people call you trash girl IRL? They do. What's your secret for staying motivated? I don't know if I have a secret. I just grind, honestly. I don't know if I'm the best at giving advice for this because I've tricked myself into thinking I'm being unproductive when I'm not doing something creative. But I do think periods of rest and giving yourself time to not use all of the power in your brain to create art is super important to keep on making art and doing things that are important art-wise. The next one is, what is your design process? I'm not organized at all when it comes to making new designs and coming up with a new collection. I don't do them all that often because I am 100% my worst critic. I will end up sampling tons and tons of items and having a bunch of ideas, and then I'll end up looking at them for too long that I hate them, and then I just don't drop anything for a while. And I think that has been bad for Trash Girl, but this year I'm trying to just put samples out like on Depop or whatever, and if people like them, I'll like let the worm in my brain be like, okay, like it's not ugly and weird, like people don't hate this, and hopefully I'll start dropping more. But usually I will like find an album or I will find like a general vibe that I'm going for. I will make a Pinterest board, I will doodle some stuff out, and then I'll kind of just come together with a vibe, and then I will like make designs depending on that. So like I'll have this Pinterest board with the general theme and vibe, and then I'll go and I'll pick out like different cuts I like. So if I want to go for a tank top or a slip dress or tights or a necklace or whatever, and then I will base my designs around that specific blank with that specific vibe. And then I will just I'll do like 20 different designs before I land on one. A lot of trial and error, a lot of playing with sizing and different like drawing styles, and eventually it just like comes to me like what it is. I don't know if that even makes sense, but eventually through this process, like I have like an aha moment and I get everything, like everything I need to do goes. And then once it gets to that point, like I just have so many ideas that it's damn near impossible to even get all of them written down as an idea. My next question is, what is your favorite clothing item you've made? 100% the Fawn skirt. I adore the Fawn skirt. I've put the most work into the Fawn skirt and it's been the most rewarding item and fun item to make for me. But other than that, I would definitely say the Montrose set. I'm really liking the idea of matching sets. I think that was a really fun one for me and I love that one. I definitely this year want to lean more into like matching sets. My next one is, what inspired you to start creating clothes and jewelry? It was such a big part of my life for so long. I was always DIYing clothes and just DIYing things that it always just kind of made sense. I grew up alternative and I grew up really fucking poor. So I did not have access to Hot Topic. I couldn't just go in there and spend $200. It was a lot of making my own clothes and finding stuff at the thrift store and making it alternative. So I think it just came naturally. I was always very interested in making clothes and just doing things myself and being creative. It really just came naturally. It wasn't like a calling or anything. I was doing it already, and then I just decided to pursue it further, and I never lost love for it, and here we are now. I have like a whole clothing brand. This one I think is a very good question that I even have a hard time with. How do you feel like you're making different pieces and not the same ones altered? I have that problem all of the time. I feel like I tend to fall into like the same categories of clothing all of the time. I mean, if you look at my website, how many like ribbed crop tank tops do I have? Like, I have multiple. It's hard to feel like you're making different pieces, and I think especially because there's so many clothing brands out there in the world and so many people like DIYing clothing that it's really hard to like fall into your own niche. And I don't know, like, I think the only thing that I've been like, yeah, I'm making like a completely different piece has been my upcycled skirts. But even then, throughout the times I've been making them, I've been like, how many jeans can I cut up into pleated mini skirts and add D-rings to? It's easy to fall into certain categories when making clothes and like being stuck on like only making that type of item or that type of style. I think that's something only people who are making the clothes feel. I don't think like the general person who wears clothes and just buys clothes is being like, huh, I've seen so many skirts that look like that, or man, I've seen so many ribbed tank tops with a screen print on it. I think what sets it apart is like, if you're passionate about it, if you're not just slapping something on a t-shirt just to slap something on a t-shirt, if you're genuinely like being creative and making something cool because you think it's cool and you hope other people think it's cool, I think that's kind of how you get past that point. And I think getting over that in your head, that you have this like blank t-shirt and you're putting something cool on it, I think in your brain making you think like, I'm putting my design onto this art, or I'm putting my artwork onto this t-shirt, like this t-shirt is my artwork and not the t-shirt. I don't even know if that makes sense, but I think And I think trying different things also helps too, and really like perfecting the type of items you're trying to make also really helps make it feel like you're not just altering a piece and you're making it your own. I don't know if it ever stops feeling like that, but I hope one day it doesn't. I think as artists we have imposter syndrome really bad. I know I do. And I think that's just something you overcome with time and by figuring out your niche and by perfecting whatever it is you're making. Anyways, that's all the questions I have for now. Maybe I'll do another one at some point. I accidentally typed a bunch of questions like 4 times, so probably missed a few. So if I missed yours, I'm so sorry. Hope I answered your questions good. And if you have more, I will happily answer them in the comments. And maybe I'll do another one of these soon. Probably not soon, but maybe I'll do another one of these at some point. I am really trying to do this whole YouTube thing this year. Like I'm trying so stinking hard, and I will do it. I want to post at least a video every 3 months, so wish me luck.